So if you've ever been to an air show and you've had a look at some of the machines there, like have a look at some military machines like fighter jets and such, and study the attention to detail. And I think you don't even have to go, and you already know, okay, well, the attention to detail is going to be outstanding. So anyways, kind of with all that in mind, I want to do a bit of a review on this Apollo 11 moonlander. I've got, I think, some other Apollo missions mixed in here yet too. I'll kind of let you know when that happens. But all the pictures that I'm going to show you are from NASA.gov, or when I was on NASA.gov, NASA.gov also provided a link to a Apollo image archive. So that's where also I got a number of these pictures. So let's dig into this a bit. So keep in mind that I'm going to be more critical of this thing because of who built it. Like, for example, if my kids had built something like this in the backyard and it was supposed to be used as a play fort or something like that, I mean, I would look at it completely different than you know, if NASA builds it. Okay, so with that in mind, I just want to show you a couple of things here, and I got myself kind of going on this ladder thing, and that's one of the things we're going to look at. I'm going to start with that, and I want you to see. Okay, so this picture, it's called Aldrin backing out of the LM hatch, and let's go to another picture here. So you can see as he's he kind of backs out onto this platform, and so he's kind of blind as he's going to have to kind of reach down with his legs somehow and find this ladder. So it's kind of like an odd thing. Like, imagine if you are getting off the roof of your house and your ladder is kind of tucked up under the eave of the roof just a little bit, and you have to kind of reach down, and I don't know, it's kind of like an oddball way of doing this. I'm going to zoom in a bit here. So look, so he's just come off that platform, and this is what I want to show you guys. Look at this ladder. Look at right here where his feet are going to go. They've got like half of a pipe or a tube or something. It's taped onto the ladder. I mean, the guy has just come off what I would imagine like blind to where he's going to be stepping, because he's got this suit and stuff, and he's kind of laying on that platform. So now he's coming over the edge, and he's got to make sure he doesn't step on this thing that they've taped on here. And so you'd think, well, maybe that's the only spot, but then a little ways down they've got another one. Like, here's another spot where it's kind of like a trip and fall hazard. You know, in this situation, if these guys poke a hole in their suit, they will, you know, how much chance do they have of surviving? Because I think to get pressure back, they would have to crawl back in and get everything closed up and repressurize the cabin. And how long would that all take? You know what I mean? So you kind of want to keep your guys safe. I mean, somehow slip and hook on something here. So the description on this picture is LM/Aldrin, and the ID number on it is AS11-40-5928, and that is in the Apollo archives. So up on top you can see kind of like this round disc up on top there, and it kind of hangs over. It sort of looks like maybe they were thinking that they could pull the paneling out to kind of match the shape of that disc. I'm not sure. And the paneling is see how it's kind of pushed in here, and the waving and the buckling right here is a pretty good gap right here. And they use an assortment of colors. So they've got the dark ones here, and here they've got a combination of the light, dark, light. And you see the paneling here. This is what I want to get into later in the next picture. There's a pretty good shot coming up of this paneling, and particularly I think it's this corner here that we're going to look at. So you can see the buckling, you know, the bowing here. And so here's an interesting thing also. Look at this area. So back in the day we had crossbar pads on our dirt bikes, and I've still got one on my old CR. And so it looks like a covering on some foam maybe underneath, right along here. And look in the back here, so you can see they got one. I guess maybe they didn't have, the covering wasn't long enough or something, and so, but evidently they had an abundance of foil tape, so they kind of got some tape going on there to get that thing on there. And over here, this looks like the foam that you might have, like if you want to insulate the pipes in your basement or something like that. So here's some more what looks like foam without the covering. You can see the little slot right in there, and a little piece of tape over this what looks like foam. Okay, so this is the corner now that I think I was looking at in the previous picture, right here, and I'm going to zoom in on that. So this is a high-res picture on the Apollo archives, and it's titled "Close-up of LM," and the ID number on that picture is AS11-40-5922. So if you have a look at that, like when I was looking at this for a while, I actually called the wife over and to get her to have a look at this, because it was rather amazing, and I don't mean it was amazing in a good way. So let's back up a bit here. So this darker colored paneling, I'm assuming that they used that to make a patch here, because it kind of looks like they came up a little short on the floor, and so they wanted to finish this off, so they got that other piece of paneling there, and they looks like they bent it into this shape. And I mentioned maybe before that it seems they have an abundance of this gold foil tape, so they got that in there. And look at the fit over here also. Like you got a big buckle right here. You could probably almost get your hand in there, and you can see on the paneling like the fit, the way it's bowing and buckling there. And so we'll go a little bit on the bottom here. So down here, this looks to me like what maybe some construction paper, like what you'd have like in a school project. So obviously I don't know exactly what it is, and it's kind of wrinkled and possibly damaged in some areas. It seems like they put tape on some damaged spots. I'm not sure what's all happened here, the little spots of tape. But you know, the interesting thing about this tape is it would have had to have been put on in the fabrication shop, because it would seem to me that when the astronauts are out and about and doing their work, they would likely care less whether or not there's a little tear or something in the material, and even if they did want to put tape on, how would they possibly do that with gloves on? So